Hey, thanks so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. Hopefully, you had a great Thanksgiving weekend. And with Thanksgiving over, you know what time that is? It means it's chestnuts roasting over an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at his nose. Yeah, there's a reason why I don't sing. Hey, that means Christmas time is coming. We've got our Christmas backdrop. Maybe you've got some Christmas music going on now, and you're listening and tuning into the Daily Doses. So thank you so much. This week we will be on First Thessalonians. We'll be going through the book chapter by chapter. I encourage you to read the entire chapter, one chapter a day, 5 chapters. We'll be going through it, and I'll be highlighting just a few verses. Before we get into First Thessalonians, chapter 1, question for all of us to ponder and to think about is this: what is something that you are known for? You know, when somebody thinks about your name, or when people start talking about you, what do they say? What do they say that you enjoy, or what are things that you spend your time doing, or how you treat other people? It's something for us to really think about as we are living our life, as we are conducting our lives, as we are, thinking and producing and consuming and accumulating all the things that of life. We need to think about what are things that we are known for. And if you are a follower of Christ, if you've accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, do the people around you, do they know it? Is it something that you talk about? Is it something that consumes your mind? Is it something that you bring up often in conversations? You see, in the book of First Thessalonians, it's actually one of the Apostle Paul's earliest letters. This is around 50 AD. And this is around 20 years after Jesus had died and resurrected. And he's writing to the church of Thessalonica, and this is during his second missionary journey that Paul is going on, and he's hearing that the church is doing really well, but there was some persecution going on. The other people did not like how they accepted Jesus Christ as their personal Savior. And listen to what he has to say in verses 8 through 10 in 1 Thessalonians. It says this: "The Lord's message rang out from you, not only in Macedonia and Achaia, from your faith in God has become known everywhere." So what he's saying there, he's saying like, hey, we don't even have to, we don't even have to ask you about this, because everywhere we're going, and he's talking about Paul and Silas and Timothy and everyone who that we interact with, they go back and say, hey, that church in Thessalonica, they mean business. And listen, I'm going to read that again. It says, your faith in God has become known everywhere. Therefore, we don't even need to say anything about it. Isn't that amazing? Is that something, if you are a follower of God, if I were to go and hang out with your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors, your acquaintances, would they say that about you? Would they say that about me? Verse 9 says this: "For they themselves report what kind of reception you gave us." And that's saying, like, from Paul, Silas, and Timothy, that they welcomed them as they came. "They tell how you turned to God from idols to serve the living and true God, and to wait for his Son from heaven, whom he raised from the dead, Jesus, who rescued us from the coming wrath." So these people in Thessalonica, they had a reputation of following God, and not just following God, but turning away from the evil ways, turning away from idolatry and serving the living God. And he's saying here, I don't even need to talk about that. I don't even need to ask you, like, hey, are you representing everywhere I go and hear about you? That's what they're saying. So let that be an encouragement and also a challenge for every single one of us. If we are followers of Christ, would we live in such a way? Would we talk? Would we bring up ideas and ideologies and our theology of what God has done in and through us to everyone around us, so that as we go around, we begin to hear about the good news of Jesus Christ and what he has done in all of our lives? That is what God has called all of us to do. So may we represent him in such a way that other people start talking about it. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.